Hey, everybody. What's up? Welcome in. This is a live like no other, unplanned, but very impactful. So listen, we're just gonna jump into it because it's a lot here. And we were talking last week, and you were like, yo, Kim, you were talking about your body was betraying you. I was talking about my words betraying me. Let's do a live. And we said, okay. And so here we are. Nothing planned. We just showed up ready to go.
Yes, I know. I'm excited. I'm excited because I'm like, when you shared, was it last week or the week before about that? I was just like, this resonates so much. And if we could bring the two together with the language and the body, I'm like, people are going to be free on a whole nother level. So I'm super excited.
Listen, and you know I'm all about healing and getting the people free. So let's go
Yes.
ahead and I'm going to introduce myself real quick. My name is Kimberly D. Dine, the Chief Executive Chemist of Pure Chemistry, where we are the missing element to your aromatic healing experience. We help our luminaries transform their atmospheres into havens of healing. There go that word healing by ushering in love, joy, peace through fragrances. Listen, I got the white coat on. I'm a scientist. I had to go get back up. I had to get the mathematician, the master coach, the boss lady herself. That's just a few things I can say to introduce her, but I can never do her justice. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the one and the only introduce herself. Coach Natalie.
Oh my gosh, I feel so like special, the one and only, which I am. I'm gonna receive that.
Am.
But I'm so excited to be here with the master scientist. And as a mathematician, I'm just like, woo, we in the room. We about to blow it up and do our thing. But before we do, my name is Natalie Lee Martin. If you don't know me by now, and I am the business life coach. And I help Christian women entrepreneurs win big in their business and their life. And so this is just a shift that's happening even in my business, as you're going to start seeing in your business as well, where as Christian women entrepreneurs, we are encompassing everything that God has called us to, right? We're not just focusing on one set area of our lives, but as we begin to focus on that area, everything else is about to blow up. So what I do is I guide my clients through strategically becoming the entrepreneur that God has called them to be. And from that avenue, they're 10xing their business revenue, they're 10xing their life, they're 10xing their being and their marriages, their children, their ministries are flourishing because of that. So I'm just excited to be in the room with this master scientist as we start talking about the body and the language and all of this other good stuff, because y'all about to get some freedom in this room today.
Freedom. Listen, she helps with everything. Okay. When I said everything is flourishing now, I am a product of this fabulous woman's program. I'm going to tell everybody all day, every day, and the changes that I've been seeing in a short amount of time. Coach is going to drop her links in the comments. Take advantage of it. Don't miss out on this opportunity because, listen, I don't come out here and just say stuff just to be saying stuff. I don't talk outside of my neck. I don't like to waste my energy. If you need help, all of that stuff she just said, stop playing. Here's your resource. Here's your sign. Okay, so listen, the betrayal has been real. And like I had said in my email list, I said, we're going to come on here and say what had happened was, okay,
Yeah.
because I was struggling. I know your story, you were struggling for a minute, and we was like, what is really going on? What is really going on? So I'm going to make the best attempt to summarize my story. So boom, what had happened was it was about 3 months ago, and I recognized that my body was just, I felt like it was a fight to get up and to actually function. I
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I got strategy. I done met with coach. I got resources right now. We can do it coming off of the Secret Place experience live in Georgia, with Pure Chemistry, was coming off of that. And I was just like, yes, let's rock and roll. Let's ready to go. My heart was in it. My head was in it, but I was fighting with myself to get up in the morning, to actually feel rested when I got up in the morning. I so much tension in my neck and my shoulders and in my back above my butt, and everything just felt like it was heavy. And I was like, man, what is going on? And so I, started checking off the list of the things. I was like, okay, if I go to the doctor, they're going to say I need to eat better. I need to get exercise in. I need to take vitamins. I got to rest. I got to do all these things. So I started doing all those things on my own. And it worked. It worked for a little while. I'm not going to lie. But after a certain amount of time, I realized I was still feeling those same experiences in my body. And so while all the eating better, the exercising, the vitamins, attempting to get more rest at night did have a benefit, something still wasn't right. And so, me, I'm like, all right, God, get on the line because I need to know what's going on. I know you have me doing all these different things. You want me to execute all these different things. I'm in a place where things are becoming clear. I'm feeling free to be me. I'm speaking what I want to see. But what is this last bit that's holding on to me? It's holding on to my body. And so I started to hear the word somatic. Somatic, somatic, somatic. And I was like, okay, this is a word that is not really talked about. And so, me, I go on a research spree in a minute. That's why I'm the scientist. I will research something in a minute. So I pulled out old Google and I said, what is somatic? So somatic has to do with your body and the things that interact with your body. And so I started to deep dive, and at first it was some stuff that I said, oh no, we're not getting into this. This was something that I was like, okay, I don't want to mess with this. And so I left it alone because I started to see things that I did not agree with. And so I walked away, and God pulled me back in. He was like, no, I need you to get past those things that look uncomfortable and really dig into this because there's something here. And so I came across somatic emotional response, and I got the definition. Somatic emotional response is physical sensations that occurs in the body in response to emotions. So those butterfly feelings that you feel when you get nervous and you feel the fluttering in your stomach, that is a somatic emotional response. When you get excited and you feel like your fingers are tingling, that's a somatic response. So I sat with this even longer and I said, why? But it feels like emotions are stuck in my body. I said those exact words. I said, I feel like emotions are stuck in my body and I don't know how to get them out. And so again, I started increasing exercise. So I'm like, well, maybe this will help release it. And so what I finally came across was my body was holding on to past traumatic experiences, past emotions, other people's emotions, and it would not let it go because I kept avoiding it. And because I would avoid specific situations, conversations, people, bills, environments, all of that started stacking up in my body, and it started being locked up in my body, and I could not let it go because I was avoiding it. So there's also something called somatic avoidance, which that goes in with somatic emotional response. So in a nutshell, let's get out of science for a second. Guess what? In layman's term, I was going through a self-induced battle fatigue.
Oh my
A
God.
self-induced battle fatigue. So it's a common response, got a definition. It's a common response to the mental and emotional strain that can result from dangerous and traumatic experiences. It's the natural wear and tear on the body and the mind. And the symptoms: irritability and anger, excessive fear and worry, headaches and fatigue, depression and apathy, loss of appetite, problem sleeping, changes in behavior and personality. Everything that I just listed, I experienced, and I did not know what this name of this was until I had to sit and do this research and get into the secret place so it could be revealed to me that Kim, you are a habitual avoider,
Oh,
and that is causing harm to your physical brain. I need to take a breath.
I know, me too. I'm like, God, really?
A habitual avoider. And it wasn't even on purpose. It wasn't on purpose, right? So what God told me was I was locking up my fight or flight response, which is a natural response in everybody's body that we all have. But if you think about the last 4 years, we've all been in consistent stressful situations. We had the vid,
Mm-hmm.
we had
Mm-hmm.
everything after that. And so we have not learned how to come out of that that stressful response, that fight or flight. So we've been on the defense, like, don't say nothing crazy to me because I'm ready to knock you out, or the flight, in where this is what I was doing, flighting. I was running away and avoiding things. And so he was like, listen, you got to make room for rest. And I'm talking about real rest, not this, I'm just going to take a nap, not this, I'm just going to disappear for a minute and then come back. No, I need you to sit with yourself. I need you to go through, talk to the people that you've been avoiding, have those tough conversations that you need to have, tell people how you actually feel, and be okay with if they don't want to receive what you have to say, but be okay with that you had to speak what was on your heart. Call the people, go to the place, enjoy the thing, all these things that you've been avoiding because the outcome you thought was going to be against you, you actually have to go out and see what the result. So I was already predicting in my head, like, this is the outcome, this is what I'm going to have to deal with, so I'm not going to do it. A
Yeah.
false sense of control. Avoidance is also a false sense of control. And because I said, God, I'm going to give you myself, you can have all of me, you in control of me, I lied. I lied. And he got me. He called me out on it. He said, didn't you say I was in control, but you avoiding stuff? So you trying to take control by avoiding things. That's a false sense of control. So listen, after I picked my whole face up off the floor and my body, listen, and I settled down. I cut back on the minerals and the vitamins, and I said, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna be intentional about reconciling and that's something that you told me, reconcile things that happened in the past, what's going now, and then who you want to be later on in the future. And you have to sit with yourself, and me now have to be okay with things that happened back then, and be okay and actually set goals now to what I want to look like in the future. I had to sit and I said 4 days straight, back to back to back, to reconcile that stuff that you can't avoid these things no more. We're gonna have these conversations. We're gonna do what we need to do today. These are the things that we're doing to make sure that we press through and get through. And this is what we want to see in the future. And you can be okay with the things that you want to see in the future. And you're going to get there. It's the journey to get there, but you're going to get there. So listen, that was my what had happened was story. We're going to elaborate more, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk about you and your words betraying you. Because if I can't tell y'all nothing else, that body betrayal was something else. And that was a 3-4 month situation. And I made it through, and now I know better. And if I'm gonna go sit down, I'm gonna go sit down. I keep telling people all the time, if you tell me you're gonna go do something, or God told you to do something, I'm not gonna stand in the way of you do, because I don't want no smoke. I don't have my share of smoke. I'm not catching no strays. So I will, hands back, go do what you need to do. And when you're ready, come back. I'm going to be here. So when it's time to rest, and I'm going to talk about rest in a minute, but go ahead and tell your story. What happened was.
So what happened was, but I love how you talk about conversations, right? Because in a lot of it, you were avoiding certain conversations. And this is where I found the betrayal was in my conversations. For me, the big issue, like you said at the end, you were like, I lied. My thing was lying, right? I was lying habitually and consistently. And God had to show me that that was my heart posture. Like I was always, especially growing up, pretending to be somebody that I was not because I didn't like where I was. And that pretense opened up the door for lying. And that lying was lodged in me that I was showing up as a liar in certain situations. And it didn't mean like I was never truthful, right? But there were just certain situations, just I would lie, especially in very hard and difficult conversations, I would lie. But the thing about it was in one of the scriptures says in the presence of um many talk or mere talk, you can a fool is revealed, right? And we always look at that as something negative. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut so that I don't look like a fool. But the thing about it was God used my conversations to show that I was a fool, and it was in me opening up my mouth. I would say, you know, one thing like in prayer, I would be like, you know, God, show up and give me the cash app in the mail, or show up and do this for me. And God's going to show up and I'm going to do this. And I am this. And then when tough times happen, when I was in tough conversations, I would shrink back, or I would say certain things like, this never going to work out. That's how I really felt. This never going to work out. I'm never going to really be a successful entrepreneur. Business is way too hard. I'm just going to go back to my 9 to 5. This is what I was saying when the pressure was applied on me. And this is where I came to realize my language was betraying me. My language, and it wasn't like a betrayal in it was tripping me up. It was actually revealing who I really was. It was revealing that I really didn't believe God, that I too was a liar, that I am acting as if God is going to work everything out when the lights are on, when I am in a calm, nice, peaceful situation. But when the push comes to shove, when the pressure hits the fan, when, you know, it's not really the pressure, y'all know what word hits the fan, all right? When that hits the fan, your girl be like, this ain't never gonna work out, Jesus. You always promising me something that you never come through on your promise. And God was like, when do I ever promise you stuff that I never come through on your promise? Name one time. And I didn't have a list of any. I didn't have no evidence to support what I was saying, because in 2004, 2005, I said, by this time next year, I'm going to be bare feet, married, and pregnant. And he came through on his promises. I said, oh, my son is not going to turn out what they say special. You know, when they did the heartbeat and all that stuff, they said, you need to abort this baby because this baby might turn out with Down syndrome. And I said, no, he ain't, to the doctor that confronted me. And he did not have Down syndrome. He actually is in the gifted courses, graduating with honors, right? Taking AP courses. So God was like, what evidence do you have that I don't come through on my promises? But it just revealed that I was not in belief. I had to come to the point where I'm like, God, I don't believe you, but help me with my unbelief. And it was in the presence of conversations, ongoing conversations, in the presence of pressure, in the presence of hard, difficult, challenging times, that I realized that my words were betraying me. It was revealing who I really was. And I did not believe that God was who he said he was, or even that I was the one that God called to do the things that he called me to do.
And that's just getting in your own way, where you like, man, I don't think I believe you gonna do what you said you gonna do. And you have all this different evidence. but you had to slow down and see the evidence. You had to slow down and see the evidence. And that's so interesting that our stories kind of line up to where we had to slow down to see.
Yes.
You had to slow down and see your evidence. I had to slow down to see, like, hold on, my body is contradicting what my
Mm-hmm.
heart and my mind is telling me to do. So we got to get this together. We got to get this straight. Listen, and her son is in stellar. A plus
Listen, when
across
the
the
doctor told
board.
me that, so
Tell them, doctors.
for real. So that shows you like there was this duplicitous nature in me. There was a war, an internal war that was going on within me, that one believed God and then the other did not believe God. And every time there was a challenge that occurred, I had to make a decision if I would continue on to becoming that person, or if I would just stay back and just be comfortable in that old way of being. And there were, when things really challenged me, when it challenged my future, I stepped up. But when it didn't, right, I'll be like, it's okay. I can live like this. And that duplicitous nature ended up coming to a head. But it was my language, getting my language into alignment, that really made the difference. And first, that meant I had to release with words. You talked about emotions. I had to name my emotions. I had to learn what emotions I felt, because I was always feeling some kind of way. And when I feel some kind of way, I give power to things, because I don't have a name for it. So I was giving power to spirits that were working through my emotions, because I was not able to accurately name them and call them out. If anybody in here has kids, if you say, kids, come here, nobody comes. Nobody. You hope everybody comes. No one comes. But when you start calling and rattling off those jokers by name, shoot, I'll be like, Azariah, Malchiah, everybody. I just call everybody all at once. And whoever shows up first, I'll be like, all right, I want you. The rest of y'all can go. But call them kids, boys, girls. No one comes. That's the same thing with our emotions, right? If we inaccurately name them, or we don't name them at all, we don't release them, and they need to flow. We have them all bottled up in our body, right? And the language is the key to that release. So I'm gonna throw it back to you with the body part, because they be locked up in your body.
Listen, okay, because this emotion, the statement, I cringe at this now. And I used to be a violator of this. I feel some type of way.
Me too.
I'm gonna let to anybody that's watching, I'm gonna let you know now. If you're in conversation with me going forward from this day, I'll let you pass not before today, but today on. If you're in conversation with me and you say, I feel some type of way, prepare for me to say, what is it that you're feeling? Because I'm not
Exactly.
going to allow you to say, I feel some type of way anymore, because that opens up the door for confusion. You can say, I feel some type of way. You truly feel sad, but anger pops up out of nowhere. And it's like, what are you mad at? What are you angry at? And I'm not catching that smoke. I'm not. This is why I had to go through what I went through now, because I was carrying other people's emotions. And so your anger potentially, if I'm not right, which thank God I am, but if I'm not right, let's go here. Hold on. Let me turn in my seat. We just gonna go there. We got to deal with the people that don't want to do the work to get themselves together. And it is not fair for you to not sit and heal and do what you need to heal with. And then we have to now fight you for I'm not fighting you for your healing. I can't care more for your healing than you care more for your healing. That's not fair. And that causes burnout, which is why I went through what I went through. I was burned out, and I had to sit with myself and say, okay, what is this ache and pain? Why is this happening? Kim, are you actually stressed, or are you dealing with other people's stress and emotions? And if so, claim what is yours, and whatever is theirs, you need to release back to them, because it is not your responsibility to hang on this and deal with that. That's like me going up to Coach Natalie and saying, all right, Nat, uh, listen up, coach. I'm freak. And we did it. I did it in a session with you. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. I am having a stressful moment. I need you to go ahead and take this over for me. I'll be back to come pick it up. You let me know when it's too heavy for you. I'll come back and get it. And then that's not okay of me. If she's my coach, if she's my friend, if she's my sister, whatever, you can't dump your emotions off other people because you don't know what load they're already carrying. It's not theirs to carry. First of all, if you want to dump it somewhere, you need to go dump it to God. He does say cast your cares, but we're casting our cares inappropriately because we're not sitting with our emotions and saying, this is what I'm feeling. Identify what it is so we no longer have to be in confusion, and then you can sort from there. So if you've been battling with, like I said, the symptoms of battle fatigue, I was in self-induced battle fatigue, irritability, anger, excessive fear and worry, headaches, fatigue, depression, loss of appetite, problems of sleeping, changes in behavior. Another one for me is I would eat, I would have to have, let me get something a little sweet after I eat dinner. And I had to realize that it wasn't that I was overeating, but I was chasing the dopamine hit that I would get from sugar that causes dopamine levels to rush in your body, which gave me a short sense of relief. Again, avoiding the actual issue and using substitutes to help with the issue. So these emotions, if you don't go through and sit with them, if you don't stop avoiding situations, if you don't stop avoiding people, you might think that you're healed, but here's the thing. You can move on to a whole nother set of people, this is the issue with people moving. Something goes down in their life and they're like, I'm gonna move to Texas. I just need a fresh start. I need a new environment. Yeah, but baby, that stuff is gonna follow you one way or the other. And because you're not practicing a high level of emotional intelligence, you will recreate the trauma that you're running from without you even trying because you have not dealt with it. And you will find yourself in a situation where you're looking around like, I'm dealing with this again. Why am I dealing with this again? You will inadvertently recreate traumatic experiences if you don't sit and deal with the aches, deal with the pains, deal with the emotions that is running through your body. That chart, that emotional chart that you gave us an emotional chart in the program. This is why I say y'all got to get in the program because we're not just doing business, we're doing life out here. But I mean, y'all keep playing if y'all want to. I mean,
they gonna stop playing. They gonna get it together.
They gonna get it together. But the chart was it was such a game changer because it's a lot of times that you're not really taught specifically of what particular emotion. Like I said, you could be sad, but anger comes up. Yes. And some people just only know how to be angry. They don't know how to express any other emotion. And so when you take the time and the responsibility to be like, no, I want to be well versed in my emotions so I can go ahead and deal with them appropriately and properly, so I can go ahead and rock out and be about the business that I need to be about and be clear. So when I was talking about when we met one day, we had a consultation, y'all, I feel so embarrassed the day after. I got in there and I had a moment and I just broke down. And I started crying. And you were so gracious. You were so gracious to me. You let me have my moment. You let me be, you let it be known that there was space for me to feel those emotions in that moment so I can figure out what was going on. And then after you were like, okay, you good? Okay, but we still gonna do this thing we need to do real quick. I'm gonna do it with you, but we gonna get it done. And we got it done in less than 15 minutes. And I was sitting there like, what was all that about? And I really felt like why did I even have a meltdown? What was that about? But you left the space open for me to figure out what it was so I can actively move forward. And after that, I was like, Kim, you was actually really tripping. Like you were really tripping. I mean, some of that was valid, but you was really tripping. Like you bugging. Go sit down somewhere. Everything is okay.
But you needed the space. And
I
the
did.
funny thing is I am learning because I'm doing it for other people to increase doing it for myself. And it started with me giving myself the grace and the space to feel my emotions. Because when I first came into entrepreneurship, I was, it was not easy and I was not making money. I tell people all the time, my first year, I made $1,000, a little bit, maybe a little bit over that, because I was charging $20 an hour for coaching. And because I came out of the employee mindset and on my job, I was making $20 an hour for to be an academic coach online. I just translated that same price tag over, even though I was doing more work. And so, or not even doing more work, but providing more value. And so I just did not know how to handle my emotions. And I noticed that I was getting triggered by every little thing. The one thing that kept me throughout the process, which I always ask anybody that works with me, is did God call you to do this? Because that's all I had. I had no other lifeline but God calling me to do this thing. And so I really had to find a way to be all that God had called me to be. And one part of it was that emotional piece. Now, I want to get back to the language because you said something. You said, I had decided that after dinner, I need something sweet to eat. And that decision made me always gravitate towards that. And what you said helped me recognize that even for me, I had made a lot of unholy vows in my life throughout my lifetime that that was being brought to the forefront when it was time to dig into my emotions, right? When I was feeling a certain contradictory, and this is what we talk about reconciling, when I was feeling contradictory to what God said, I was like, where is this coming from? I remember making an unholy vow that I would not make over a certain amount in business, because if I got over a certain amount, then I would be prideful.
Mm,
So if I make more than 125,000, I don't even know what number I put in my heart, but I remember making that vow to say, if I go beyond this number, I'm gonna be go beyond my limit and I'm going to leave God. And so for me not to ever leave God, I'm going to limit myself. But how demonic is that? Because we serve a God who is limitless. And the reason he called me out of education was because the cap, every time I went to a new school district, there was another cap. Sometimes it would be lower and sometimes it would be higher, but you could only make a certain amount of money at the end. There was no opportunity to go beyond that cap. And so he brought me out of that so that I would have a limitless opportunity in the marketplace to make as much as I wanted to or desired or had faith enough to make. But because I had made this unholy vow of poverty, basically that's what it was, I kept pulling myself back when I felt like I was going too far. When it was just like, and somebody, a prophet, had to come to me and be like, listen, I just want to let you know right now, you will never fall into the sin of pride again. Because I had fell into pride before. And I know what that felt like. I know what it sounded like. And I was like, your girl ain't going there. I said some reckless stuff against a pastor who was like, and it's just, so if you saw him and you've been around him, he's so pleasant, he's so kind, he's so generous. And I was like, you have the audacity to talk about this man? What's wrong with you, girl? Yes, that was me. And so I was like, hey, never going back there. I'm going to limit myself so I don't ever go back there, because we see the Diddy's, right? We see how Diddy started and how he ended. We see how Solomon started and how he ended. We see how these people started, and the Bill Cosbys that we love, how they started and how they ended. And we automatically assume it's the money. So because it's the money, let me cap myself so I don't go too far beyond myself. But the boundaries that I needed to set was not the cap in the dollar bill. The boundaries was I need to not go beyond my values. What is my values? It's love, it's joy, it's truth, it's what you call that, imagination. That's my values. And I have to align myself with my values every single day using my words. This is why affirmations for me is super important, because it reminds me of who I am. So when I do hear language that is unlike myself, I can pinpoint to say, that's no, that's anger. No, you feel betrayed. No, girl, you just sour. No, you just jealous. No, and it's times that that happens. I know we like to think that we're all great and gravy and wonderful, but we do get jealous still. We do hate people still. We do be, the ones hating on other folks. We do be that kind of person. And then we have to pinpoint that petty side of us to say, you know what? I'm being petty right now. The other day I was being petty. I was talking to one of the my coaches, and I was being real, real petty. And I called somebody all kinds of names. And then at the end I was like, but that's not who they are. I'm in my feelings right now. And because this is a safe place, I know I can have my feelings, I can release it, and then I can repent and move on. That's the beautiful part about being with God. He gives us the opportunity through our language to confess and realign with what he said.
Ooh, that's so good. Listen, because we all raggedy at some point. It's unfortunate, but it's real. And that's the thing. But that's the difference is I can come on here and say, I'm raggedy. Okay. Me too. I be raggedy. But that's the difference
Raggedy.
of knowing that, your heart, where your heart is and where your heart lies. It's like, I don't want to be raggedy for the rest of my life, though. I can tell you that. God, look, these are the things that's in my heart. Please come in, give me a clean heart, renew my spirit, because you know where I'm at. You know my heart truly is in the right place. But these people playing with me. These people playing with your girl. But get us right back on the right road. So you said something that is very, very important. You said that you had to be safe, in a safe place, to be able to speak what was on your mind and your heart, and then come back and repent. And so honestly, that was the main remedy I kept getting about stopping my body from betraying me, was getting into a safe place, right? In a safe space. And so God kept saying, make room for rest, make room for rest. And I'm like, okay, I'll go take a nap right now. Like, what you want? What's up? And he said, no, I need you to make room for rest. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. What do I need to research? And so I started researching the word rest. And of course, another name or another word for rest is be. Is to simply be.
Mm.
And so I said, oh, well, you've been talking to Natalie. Y'all in
I
cahoots.
know.
He be on point. So he's make room to be. And I said, okay, well, what does that look like? What does being look like? Like, give me something deeper to go off of, because I know for like the aesthetic part of me, I know what I want to look like. I know what I want my hair to look like. I know what I want my makeup to look like. I know I love a good jumpsuit. And if I could wear jumpsuits for the rest of my life, I think I would. So all of that stuff I get. Like, I know how I want to be, but how do you want me to be internally? And so I started to pray, like, okay, God, I feel angry, frustrated, I feel betrayed. I felt so much dishonor from
Oh,
other people. What do I need to do to move forward and just make room for being me? And he said, well, first, I need you to address the fact that you dishonored yourself. And because you have been dishonoring yourself for so long, you have left so much room for other people to come in and dishonor you. And I said, okay, well, external people outside of my house. Okay, yeah, I get that. I see that. He was like, no, what about your family? allowed your family to dishonor you because you wouldn't honor yourself. And I said, well, what does that mean? Like, just tell me. And he said, well, you know, those conversations that you've been avoiding having with your family, or the environments that you've been avoiding going to with your family, you're dishonoring yourself because you're not being true to what you know, what you feel, and that you know eventually you're going to have this conversation anyway. But you avoided it for so long that you allowed fear to come in to now settle within your body. And now you get aches and pains when you could have just had the conversation, went to the place, said the thing, and stopped being afraid that they're going to be mad at you. They're going to shut down on you. They're going to walk away from you. They're your family. They're not going anywhere. But trust yourself, trust what you know, trust what you speak enough to know that it's what they need to hear, and they'll heal through it. But you also have to heal through it too. Your healing can't be one sided. And I had been allowing other people to heal, but
Ooh.
I didn't care about my healing. I did not care about my healing. And I was like, well, if they just get what they need, you know, if they get the support they need, if they get what they need, then I'll be okay. No, no, no. My heart is still hurting over here. And so I had to, like we talked about, I had to become a safe space for me before I could dare go out and require somebody else to be a safe place for me. And so I had to sit and do that work and feel safe within myself. And this is something that I had to physically tell my body in situations. And I'm still doing this today. I'm like, it's a new thing for me. I get into a situation that's very uncomfortable. I will say, I'm safe right now. Let's address, what is this feeling that you're feeling? Is this you or is this somebody else? And I will literally I'm sitting in a room full of people. I did sit in a room full of people, and I was like, okay, what are you feeling? You're safe in this moment, but we need to address what this is that you're feeling. Are you feeling yourself? Are you feeling somebody else's anxiety and fear? And once I did that, it helped bring me back down and bring me to a level place where I can think clearly and say, okay. And it also helps when you slow down that you get an opportunity to know what and who it is you need to pray for.
Yeah.
Do I need to pray for myself? Do I need to pray into this thing? Or do I need to pray for somebody else's, whatever it is that they're dealing with? And so finding that safe space, knowing that you are a safe space for people, for yourself first, before you require somebody else, is something so huge. And God told me something. This was a while ago before I even started to do this research. He said, create a space for retreat. And he said that there are people that are taking the word retreat and doing it incorrectly. A retreat is different from a conference. A retreat is different from a conference. The word retreat has been abused, and people have been using that word to make it look cute and soft. But then when we get in there, we're doing all this work. That's not what that is for. And it's been misconstrued. Retreat and self-care. Self-care is another one he said has been misconstrued. People think that self-care is only going to get your nails done, going to get your hair done, going to get a massage. No, self-care is a holistic approach where you do your heart work, your soul work, your spirit work, everything, dealing with your emotions, dealing with your past traumatic experiences, and you can go get your nails done and go to the spa. So redefining rest, which is really not a new definition, but it's just people have added so much to it that it's gotten to be the cool, trendy thing to say. But going back to the beginning, going back to the basics of knowing truly retreat and rest is what we need. Retreat and rest is what we need. So finding that secret safe place is what we need.
That's good. And this is one of the reasons why the Clarity to Execute Academy partnered with Pure Chemistry LLC in the first place, where we are. First time y'all gonna be hearing it. I didn't tell Kim I was gonna do it, but we're gonna be we're going to be creating a candle line for the Clarity to Execute Academy, and we're in the process of doing that right now. So not only did I love candles, I'm an avid enthusiast about candles, but the after working with Kim, after purchasing her products, right, I started seeing that aromatherapy is a huge thing. And with her candles, what she does is like, after talking to her, because she is a scientist, I am a mathematician, we speak the same language, our languages overlap in some cases. I noticed that creating that environment and safe place can be you can do that through aromatherapy. You can do that with your candle. So I didn't realize that when I would clean my house and light my candles and put candles all over the house, I was creating a cozy atmosphere. I thought I was just wanting it to feel like home, but home feels safe. So by doing all of that, I was creating this atmosphere of safety for myself. And this is why I love working with you. And this is why I in my academy wanted to partner with you, because I want to expedite that process for people as well. I want people to come into the academy and light the candle and feel safe in their being, right? I couldn't feel safe talking to my coaches and being real about it without feeling safe in myself first, to then now share this, because there is a possibility that the coach can go back and be like, Natalie really like this, okay? But I'm exposing myself first to let y'all know how I really am. And I do repent when I'm wrong, because I'm never 100% right. I never have it all together. I also have my moments of doubt and unbelief when it comes to building out this multi-million-dollar business that God has me doing. But I have put boundaries, I have put processes, I have put systems in place to bring me constantly back into alignment with God's word. It's not that we're not going to fall short. It's what we do after we fall short. That's the biggest thing. It's not that we're going to not make poor decisions. It's what we do after we recognize that this is a poor decision. What do we do next? And I didn't understand until connecting with you how much aromatherapy can induce that environment to speed up the process of me becoming a safe place in myself. If I knew, I would have been done that. But I didn't know. I'm just like, I just like this. And so because I like this, I lean into it even more. But you came in and gave clear language as to why this process was working the way that it was working, because as a scientist, you're able to go back and do the research. You're able to link the body with the aroma and speed up the process for people that are in need of healing. So all of that to say, I really love candles, but I love what Kim is doing with Pure Chemistry. She's not like every other candle maker. And this is why she's in the academy, because we only have misfits. We only welcome people that are, not that we only welcome people, but we really enjoy working with people who are not determined to be cookie cutter, who are determined to see what God says come to pass, even if it does not look like what it's supposed to look like right now. Those who are willing to lean into their future self and become something that is so unique that you have no choice but to stand out amongst the rest. So that's it.
Thank you for that. I didn't pay her to say that, y'all. I didn't know she was gonna say
Good
that. I
night.
didn't know she was gonna.
We don't pay each other to do none of this stuff.
None of
We
this.
just
None of
like each
this.
other.
News alert. C2E
Hello.
Academy is partnering with Pure Chemistry. I didn't know the headline was going out today, but I appreciate you so much. And for that exact reason, for me going through this process, for having to deal with my body betraying me, that's where the secret place candle came from, is because I was intentional for 2 weeks straight, coming in trying to figure out what's going on. And the fragrance just was like, it only made sense. Like, let me like this fragrance so I can set my atmosphere, so I can get what I need, and so I can walk out of this secret place in freedom. I'm not leaving until I get the freedom that I'm looking for. And this new fragrance here, it done did it. Okay. It done did it. And everybody that has smelled this fragrance has said they smell different notes. So it ain't me, that is God, because I know what fragrance oil I purchased, but he allows people to smell different fragrance notes and aromas. So I am grateful that he utilizes me this way. And a lot of people don't know it's in the Bible. Fragrances in the Bible, they set the aroma for Holy Spirit to dwell in the Bible. We ain't gonna get there because we're gonna be on here longer than we're supposed to. But
I know.
just know
We might have to do a part two.
we might have to do a part two, because we might have to go there and let the people know about
Yes.
setting your
Fragrances.
aroma,
Mm-hmm.
speaking what you want to see,
Mm-hmm.
being yourself, your future self now,
Create that atmosphere. Yeah.
creating the atmosphere with your words and aroma. Okay, part two
Girl.
coming soon. I'm gonna drop the link for the Secret Place candle in the chat once we get off here. I love y'all, but listen, don't let the betrayal get real for y'all. We had to go through it so we can come and tell y'all, don't do it. Don't do it, Cletus. Don't do it.
Don't do it,
Sit with yourself, get into your secret place so you can become safe for you, so you can be safe for somebody else, so healing can take place, freedom can take place. That's all I want. That's all I pray for. And that's all I could ever ask is, God, give me the heart of you so I can do what you want me to do so your people can get free. And whatever I got to do, you got to send me. I guess I'll go. I'll go.
I guess I'll go.
I guess I'll go. I'll be the one. I'll volunteer. But Coach Natalie, thank you so much for joining me today on this live. The betrayal
Thank you
is
for
real.
having
Look,
me.
part two, we'll have to announce part two coming soon. Like I said, she's gonna drop her links in the chat if you want a consultation, correct? A consultation, meet, chat, find out what's really going on in the program. You don't want to miss out. If you need help, here's your sign, here's your resource. You came across this live intentionally. Click the link when she drop it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Don't
All
play
right.
with it. I like that. I
All
want to say
right,
this
y'all.
thing.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
This last thing. The betrayal does not have to delay you. Sit with yourself, utilize the tools that we dropped in this live, and keep it moving. It does not have to delay you.
Keep it moving
Keep
and
it
delay.
moving.
Listen, it won't delay you if you stay on top of it and do what you're supposed to do.
That's it.
Listen, fire was dropped in here. I'm going to go back and watch this myself and take more notes. All right, y'all. We will see y'all later for part two. We'll announce that later. If you're not a part of my email list, click the link in the description and in the chat. Get a part of the email list so you know when part two is coming. And we will see y'all next time. I love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye.